Hey, how you doing there again, folks? Me again, of course, Brandon Wenzel. Come back at you, another offering off my sampler platter. Yes, indeed, folks, I'm playing for these series of videos I've been doing for a little while now. Go over there, try out food and drink items. I eat stuff, I drink stuff, then, folks, I'm gonna talk about stuff. I'm gonna let you know all that you need to know about hopefully delicious stuff. That time I'm doing this, folks, I'm not gonna lie, it's 1,000,000 degrees out today. Ugh, it's so bad. But we'll get to that. Folks, it's super simple format. I'm gonna go over there, I'm gonna try out food and or drink items for you. Whilst I'm doing so, I'm yammering on about it for a bit. Whilst I'm doing all that, I'm inside my truck. Whilst I'm doing all that, folks, hiya! I'm wearing a super cool shirt. Folks, when I wear super cool shirts, I always like to highlight the super cool shirt. What super cool shirt am I wearing for today, though? Happens to be my Master of Flying Guillotine shirt. Yeah, I've had this shirt for a while now. If you're unfamiliar with the cinematic masterpiece that is the Master of Flying Guillotine, it is actually a sequel film to another excellent film known as The One-Armed Boxer. It's an old school kung fu movie from back in them thar days. I want to say the 70s, but I'm never very good with dates. Starring the late, great Jimmy Wang Yu, who was truly a pioneer, and I genuinely think you could call him a bit of a visionary when it came to martial arts cinema. He does not get the credit he deserves, in my opinion. Not only did he star in his films, he also directed some of them. Really kind of led the way in helping to forge what martial arts films would eventually become. And this is definitely one of my favorites of his. It is bonkers and amazing, and it's just wonderful. If you happen to be interested in kung fu movies or anything like that, hit me up in the comments, we can chat about it. But anyway, what am I trying for today, folks? What are we doing here? Why is it 1,000,000 degrees? I don't know why it's 1,000,000 degrees. I keep bitching about the sun, but nobody wants to go over there and shoot a rocket at it and finally blow that bitch up. So we're left with freaking 1,000,000 degree days. And it's even more annoying because I went over there and I checked the weather on my phone, right, before I left. And it was like, it's like 88 degrees out, and it's like, that's shitty, but kind of manageable. I get out, go into my car. My car's like, fucking, it is not 88 degrees out right now. But what with it being hot and crappy out, I need something that's going to go over there and rejuvenate me, help cool me down, help refresh me. So, I'm going to be reviewing, boom, from Panda Express. This is their Peach Lychee Refresher. I've reviewed some stuff from Panda Express before, but this is actually the first time I've tried one of their drinks. I saw it over there and it was like, that seems like something I could review. So let's get a thing for the thing. It looks like Panda crafted. Let's try it out. I appreciate that they filled it so damn high, too. And the girl behind the counter was extremely nice. So, kudos to her. I didn't get her name or anything, but, you know. That is very tasty. That's very tasty. And the thing is, like, it makes sense because both peach and lychee, they have sort of similar flavor profiles, right? They both have some sweetness to it and like some earthiness. Lychee is a little bit more subdued in its sweetness. Peach is definitely the sweeter of the two, but it's also got more of that earthiness. So what you end up here is you've got like it's a very nice like summertime drink. That's sweet, but not too sweet. And so you get this nice sort of earthy, almost slightly floral from the lychee vibe, but then you get that nice sweet tanginess from the peach as well. That is really good. Those two flavors blend surprisingly well together. I say surprisingly, not, as I just stated, it kind of makes sense that they would because they have similar flavor profiles. But I've just never thought of the idea of, tagging lychee and peach together. But as it turns out, it's actually really, really tasty. And I appreciate, like, I love a nice, strong beverage. You know, like, I'm obviously a big fan of soda if you watch the channel. But with a drink like this, especially in heat like this, you don't want to have, like, a heavy drink. You know, you want something that's going to sort of hit, do its job, and get the fuck out of Dodge while still going over there and being nice and refreshing and hydrating. And I feel like that's exactly what this does. It's a very light drink, but it's impactful with the flavor, and then it fades out, and it's gone. And then you're just, you know, back to having a nice follow-up sip. It almost reminds me a little bit of like a flavored tea. Is kind of like the closest thing I could describe it. Or I could probably describe it like, you know, being close to like, you know, like Mexican like agua frescas and stuff like that, which are, you know, drinks that you'll often see in Mexican restaurants, which I would imagine were probably the basis for this general drink idea. But no, that's nice. I like the fact that the peach, they didn't go overboard with it. Like, I like peach, but if you do too much with it, at least for me, I feel like it can really sort of become slightly abrasive. That's not the case here. They really blended the flavors nicely and allowed them to go over there and play to their strengths while not overplaying their hand. And I think it makes for a really nice beverage. I'll have to try the other ones. I believe they have 3 others, if I'm not mistaken. Okay. Well, 2 questions have to be asked. Would I get it again? Would I recommend it? I mean, I have to go with yes and yes. I think for me personally, there's really no downside to this. Like I said, you know, I think it hits in exactly the way that it's supposed to. It's nice and refreshing. It's definitely hydrating tasting. It's not overly sweet or heavy. And I feel like the flavors blended really well. You know, like I said, you know, I wouldn't have thought to pair those 2 things together, but it definitely works. It actually reminds me a little bit, I actually just posted this review earlier today. Body Armor just came out with a new flavor, peach mango. And that actually has kind of a similar vibe to this, but this is obviously much more subdued in its flavor profile, but similar kind of vibes. Yeah, this is a nice combination. I think they did a good job with it, and it's definitely something that, you know, usually when I go to Panda Express, if I get a drink, I'll get like a Coke or something like that. I would be willing to go over there and tag in on this, for sure. But if I'm recommending it, which I am, I think that, yeah, absolutely. You know, if you're like me, where you tend to go for the Coke or maybe a Powerade or what have you every now and again, I think these are a nice alternative to that. And they actually did have, I didn't make use of it because I wanted to go in blind, but they actually did have like sample cups out in front. So if you want, you can even try them there. Or you can go over there and take my word for it, because at the end of the day, you are watching my video. Thank you very much, by the way. But yeah, I think this is a good one, and I think it's one that, you know, again, especially during the summertime, this is a nice one to exploit. 5 things before I get out of here. Have yourself a great rest of your day, spectacular rest of your week, monumental rest of your month, stupendous rest of your year. Folks, go over there and have yourselves a truly lychee-tastic rest of your life, because how often do I get to tag lychee into my videos? Final 2 things. Number 1, try to bring some positivity into the world. It's not always possible. It is, however, always appreciated. But what do you do if you can't do it all the time? I know I can't do it all the time. Here's what you're going to do, folks. You're going to try not to be an asshole. Now, folks, it's not always the easiest thing in the world to not be an asshole. Trust me. I know it. I live it. I'm out there every day with you in it. Life can be stressful and frustrating and just bullshit sometimes, folks. When we find ourselves in situations where we have to deal with said bullshit, it's important we go over there whenever possible. Take a step back, try to mitigate the level of assholishness in our lives, hopefully do better for ourselves and for those around us. Very final thing, folks, do the thing. Whatever the thing is for you, that's what I want you to go out and do. Folks, have you tried any of the Panda Express refreshers? If so, what's been your personal take on it? Are you into them? Do you think they're, not all that much? Or, hit me up in the comments. We can have a conversation about it. Anyway.